Let's talk about deploying Eliza today. Eliza is a simple, fast, and lightweight AI agent framework. It's a lot of words, and I don't really have a succinct definition for all of that, but basically, AI agent frameworks, they're really awesome, and Eliza is one of the hottest ones that are out there right now. If you just take a look at the GitHub and look at the chart, it's been building in the background for the past couple months, but then December, it's just taken off in popularity. It's almost going like vertical in the chart. So if you're working with AI and AI agents and you want to play around more with that, I'd highly recommend Eliza. But yeah, I've been trying to get this deployed for the past day or so, and I just finally got it, and I just want to go over that and just show you how I get that up and running. So yeah, Eliza agents and agent frameworks, just to show you how it works locally. So we have it set up and downloaded, installed everything. Here's our repo, here's our code. It comes out of the box really good. You don't really have to tweak anything. You just have to put the model provider here, and then you can, in the terminal, pnpm start, and you can put your character in, or if not, I just use the default character. But for now, we have the Dobby character from, Dobby, and we just put the model provider to openAI because that's the one that works really well. You put the env example. Yeah, just put the OpenAI key here, and then it should work fine. So we run start, and just takes a moment or so. So it's launched at localhost 3000, and if you go there, it just shows the REST API. If you want to actually interact with it, we can see this part right here. So we need to run pnp start client to run the client. So over here, we just do that, and then it's running. And then here's kind of like the basic chat framework that you can use. So here's Dobby. This is just running locally. Say hello Dobby. And if you go back, you can see the logs, and then it just goes through all the steps, goes through the memory, the providers, and any actions, and then it spits out the text using the LLM. And there's a bunch of things you can do with it, like things that I have to go over in another video. But yeah, so we have that, and that's running locally. So how do we get this on a droplet with DNS and everything like that? So my preferred way, I like to do this, it's with a Dockerfile. They already have it already in here. So Dockerfile here. It is I mean, this, just to preface, it's gonna be pretty rough because like the Dockerfile itself is like huge. It's 12 gigabytes. I don't know if there's a better way. There probably is, but just I wanted to do this way because it's simple and I like it and I know it. So yeah, we have the Docker file, and we're going to build a Docker image for Eliza. So yeah, uh, so we have this. If you just go Docker, I'm not going to build the actual things because it takes quite a bit. On my machine, it took like 10 minutes to build each Docker image, and then I had to push it, which took like a few other minutes. So just to walk through the steps, so Docker build, you're going to tag the image. Let's say like just put your name, and then let's say Eliza 1.0, and then that builds it. Yeah, this is kind of how it looks like. And once you build it, you push it, and then we can deploy it. So DigitalOcean, let's go over that. That's just one platform you can use to create a droplet, basically just like a cloud Linux server. And one of the ways you can do it is with a CapRover. So CapRover is a platform as a service. It's not really necessary, but it makes everything simpler in my opinion because it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. It takes care of your DNS, your routing, your HTTPS, and you can deploy anything from a Docker image. So that's the important thing here. It's deploying apps, deploying any app from a Docker image. So you just go here, you go to Marketplace, because DigitalOcean has a one-click image too. CapRover, yeah. It's right here. And usually I just use the cheapest option available, but for this one, because the images are so chunky, I do recommend, like I couldn't get it to work with the cheapest one. I actually had to go to like the $12. I had to get, I think it was 4 gigabytes. No, I had to get extra gigabytes and extra storage because just because it needed that juice. So you do that, you create it, and then I'll go over to the one that's already created, which is right here. So yeah, um, it gives you the IP address here, but then for the first time you go to the console, and then it gives you a link you can access your CapRover instance. So I'm just gonna copy that here, paste it, and then 3000 is the port that CapRover sits at. For the first time, the password is Captain42 for any CapRover instance. And here's our CapRover platform, and I just put my DNS, my stuff here, my routing, eliza.buildersofstuff.com, and this is how the A record looks like. I just added another one, added an A record, and put the host as star.eliza, so wildcard Eliza, and pointed to the IP address of our droplet. And once that is, you just update the domain. You can do HTTPS if you want, but just for simplicity, I just skip that for now. And you got the DNS set up, and then you can go to apps. You can create as many apps as you want as your droplet can support. So for this one, I created Eliza, which is the first image that we built right here. You can create it. You can set the container port to 3000 because that's, if we go back here to our local instance, and yeah, so once we run it, when we run it locally, it runs at port 3000. So when we deploy it, we just do the same thing there. App configs, I can't show it right now because it's got my secret key, but all you're going to put in there is the openAI key and then your key. And then for deployment, once you've pushed your Docker image up, you can actually just deploy it like here. I put Eliza 1.0.4 because that's the image that I created and pushed, and it deploys. And then for the what it looks like, it's just gonna put some logs here, and then you're gonna have some app logs, and that settles the initial Eliza image. And if we go to it, we see that we have our REST API right here. But we can't do anything with just the REST. I mean, locally we had the client connecting to this part, so we didn't have just the REST API. To do the second part, the client, I'm pretty sure you could just take that file in the client, take all this stuff and just build it, because it's just a bunch of React files. So it's just like JavaScript and HTML. I tried it before. I just ran a build and then took the dist folder and put it up on Netlify, but I couldn't figure it out. There's like some stuff wrong with the routing and stuff, so I did not do that, and I just opted to make another Docker image, which is quite large. Yeah, but just to go over that, so for the second Docker image, there are some lines of code that we have to modify. For one, we have to copy the client folder because it's not copied initially, and if you don't have the client folder, then it's not gonna route to it. So I copy the client folder and then put it right here, and then I change the command from pnpm start to pnpm start client. So that's the Dockerfile, and then we can also modify the client package JSON in here. So the only thing I did here was just to add the -- host to the Vite. So before it was like this, and then after that it was just like this. So we got the package, the client package JSON, the Dockerfile, and the Vite config. So we change it from localhost to srv Captain Eliza. So this is a URL that CapRover provides with us. Basically, if we go back to CapRover, go apps, Eliza, we can see that it's actually, in addition to the regular URL, it provides two internal URLs too. So this one and also this one. And so if any other app within CapRover makes a call to this URL, it will route it to this app. So we just take that URL, we put it right into here, into the Vite config. So the target is the internal URL by CapRover with the server port. And then once we have the Vite config, we have the client package JSON, and we have Dockerfile. We build it, and we say like Eliza-client, and then we can push that up. And then within CapRover, we create another app. So in my case, I already did that. I created as client. I set the port to 5173 because that's the port that is there. It's 5173. Yeah, and then we can go to app configs. There's nothing in there because it's just the client and deployment. Again, we can just deploy from the image name. We can just say like ktrung Eliza client 1.04 or whatever name you put that you push the image to Docker Hub or wherever you're pushing it. So then it deploys the thing, and then you can see the logs, the build logs, and then the app logs. And then once you have that deployed, it should be working. So we click this, we can see that it's Eliza. We can select our agent. It's our little client dash chat dashboard. We can chat with it. We say hello Dobby, and it should return a response. Yep, okay, there we go. Yeah, so that is on production on our server. And then if we go back to CapRover, we can actually check those logs from our Eliza deployment and just getting our text. Yep, so here's where our message, hello Dobby, and then it goes through all the steps that it usually goes through again, and then just spits out the text and then back to our browser. Yeah, so that is the general process of how you can deploy Eliza onto a droplet. And for the next step, like let's say you want to update your image or update your code, like you're working with Dobby and you want to add some plugins, let's say, or just like modify the bio or add some actions in this agent folder, anything like actions, evaluators, providers. Once you've done that, you can actually just build the same Dockerfile. Let's say instead of Eliza 1.0, you can do like Eliza 2.0, and then you can push that up. And in CapRover, you can do deployment and go back to deploying whatever you named your new one. So let's say Eliza 2.0, and yeah, it'll take care of all the stuff that you have to do. So switch the container, the image from the old one to the new one, and that's the general flow of how you continually update the thing, your agents and your thing. I think that covers it. That's all I wanted to cover, I think. Yeah, hope that helps. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Otherwise, yeah, until next time.